Now, possibly my favorite product, because I really don't like fleas, I really don't like ticks, I really don't like giardia, I really don't like bugs. I particularly dislike dogs that, well, I don't like dislike dogs. I love the dogs. I don't like the potential that they bring crawly things in my house, but I've got a bit of a tick flea thing. Bug K9, Dave, has changed the way that I use many other treatments on my dogs. And I can wholeheartedly say I haven't used a pharmaceutical type product in probably over 3 years now, so a long time. And other than when I have to travel between countries and then we have to sign that we have it from a vet. But typically, I don't use a lot of other products. I really do use Bug K9. What is Bug K9 designed to do?
Okay, when we were developing Bug K9, what we initially started with is okay, what's a bug? What affects animals? What affects dogs? And all those things you mentioned, actually, it's a wide ranging area. It's not just particular one species of tick. It's not particularly one species of um, parasite. It's a range of different things. So what we did is we started looking at all these things that potentially could um, be classified as a bug. And then we started looking at the potential ingredients that we could use to maybe counteract the effects of this, or actually deter these bugs from latching on or attacking, or whatever way you want to describe it, the dog. So we looked out there and we looked at some of the really good study base out there that and what it was pointing to, and actually what we came together was a number of ingredients that had different effects on different things. For example, for example, pumpkin, it actually contains this thing called amino acid curcumin, which actually paralyzes worms, for example. It also has anti-parasitic activity in the pumpkin seeds itself. Um, Black cumin, it's been used for thousands of years, and it reduces the ability of the parasites to lay eggs.
And
Um,
actually, I have to say, if you've ever tasted some of these things individually, they can taste pretty foul. Like I've tried to get
yeah,
my dog to take some of the seed oils or the black cumin, and they will not take it. And yet, my late dog Tokyo, who just the best dog, he was the coolest dog. His favorite supplement was bug, like to the point that he would bite your hand off for anything that had bug on it or in it. And so sometimes I would put it on kibble, or other times I would put it on treats, or other times I would mix it in raw, depending on how I was giving it. He loved it, and it smells like a good curry, to the point that I've said to you, please, Dave, will you make me sample sachets of it? And you're like, no, we can't run it through in sample sachets because of the way that it is across the whole. Like it smells like a great curry, doesn't it? Like but some dogs.
it's a very powerful formulation, and it shows that these are all natural products, obviously pumpkin, ginger, cinnamon, peppermint, fennel, black cumin. And as you said, every single one of them has this very distinctive smell. I mean, fennel, for example, it's got these volatile oils in which have a very distinctive smell, and that they act as powerful microbiotic, microbial, I should say, effects on the animals. So that is actually part of the effectiveness of the product as well. It's
Whenever I open it with students, and I've got students around here, and I'm like, take a smell of that, and they're like, whoa, like it's got a real smell, it's got a real kick. I love it, I absolutely love it. And my dogs, I'm not, you know what, if you have a curry ever at Bowerland, you're gonna have bug in it. I'm joking. But no, my dogs really do enjoy it, they really do like to take it. Now I'm going to talk ticks, because I at Bowerland had a year 2 years ago where just before 3 years ago, maybe just before we had bug, and we were in the early stages of trialing, and we were trying to come up with a formula at the time. And I had one walk with Blink, and Blink had almost in one walk, I would say 40 ticks. I've never had a walk like it. Like I think because she's low to the ground, she's in the bushes, sheep are everywhere. It's the right time of year for it. We live in sheep territory. I live on farmland. And so for me, it was a really horrific experience, not only pulling all those ticks off her, but realizing that every one of those had bitten. Now, let's fast forward to today, Dave, and I really do not use any tick treatments on her.
interesting.
I do two things. One, I use bug, and the second thing, I do wipe her down with a Gleam towel before and
Yeah.
after. and I do spray her. But I really don't, and I spray her with natural, our own natural sprays. And I use our bug balm. So I do use our bug balm, but I do not use anything in addition to that. And yet she does not get ticks. Now, is bug designed to help with ticks?
Well, it is, and it goes back to what you're talking about, this very pungent smell of all these ingredients. Now, the way we think it may work is after a certain amount of time, these very powerful phytonutrients as such, these very powerful ingredients will actually become part of the animal as such, and almost be excreted, and almost deter the tick from latching on to the animal, just because of this. You can't smell it yourself, but the ticks won't latch on just because of that sort of. It's almost like that volatile nature of some of these ingredients.
That's amazing, isn't it? And for that reason, I use Bug K9 all year round. What would you recommend?
Exactly, all year round. Animals go out all year round, so why not?
And what I really like with it, Dave, is it comes in powder form. Just remind me why we think the powder form is the best solution. Like, why are we not putting this in a capsule, or why are we not putting this in a tablet, or why are we not putting this maybe rubbing it all over their skin? Like, why are we putting it in a powder, and why are they ingesting it?
Okay, so powders themselves, we've talked about this before, but essentially you have three different mechanisms of delivering a product to an animal for ingestible product, and it's a chewy type products, tablets or capsules, and powders. These chewy type products, they can have as little as sort of 25 to 30% of actives, or the stuff you want in there, and the 70% of things that make the chewy itself palatable, and also malleable and easy to give to the dog. So effectively what you're doing is you're trading the palatability for the effectiveness of the product, because you're not getting as much in per treat or per tablet or per chew as you would do in the equivalent amount of powder. Tablets, you can have about 50% tablets and capsules of active, and then you need other things to help stick these ingredients together. So again, your maximum you're ever going to get is about 50%. With powders, you can get up to 100% of active levels in a powder. You don't need anything to stick them together. Now and again, you might need flow agents or stability aids to help make sure the powder reaches its shelf life. But other than that, you don't need other things to help the powder stick together. So powders are always for us the where we want to be with regards to delivery format, because it allows us to develop per gram of material. The levels can be much higher. For instance, in plaque product, it's 100% of active levels. This particular product itself is actually relatively high as well.
So thinking about when you're talking about other products, because I know a lot of people like to combine the A-OK9 products, how safe is it to combine Bug K9 with, say, Itch K9 with, say, Probio K9?
They're absolutely fine, absolutely fine. In fact, if you were combining with ProBio in particular, ProBio is aimed at the health of the microbiota. The microbiota is responsible for a number of factors, including immune system regulation, and helps with the immune system itself, which in turn would help with any kind of internal parasites. Bug itself also has probiotics and prebiotics in, which help with the microbiota. So actually, you would be getting a dual function there if you combine ProBio with bug as well.
And I think it is worth saying that, yeah, we do combine things. So I know that together we developed our super balms, and our balms, we love the ingredients of the balms. We have explained to everyone we will at some point put them in a pot. So we'll move them to a pot, because we think that will help with longevity of being able to use them, and any temperature changes. But we love the combination. It's designed to work in combination with that, right? You can put the balm on the collars, you put the balm all around the dog, and then the dog also then can take the herbs as well. So effectively, they're taking a herbal supplement, and they are having a great sort of double two-prong attack there.
Yeah, exactly. And you mentioned before, why don't we just rub this on the dog? It'd be great if we could, but actually, the whole point of having a powder and an ingestible powder is to have that long-term cumulative effect. So you know if your dog is eating this every day, it's building up some kind of defense to ticks, to outside agencies as such that might try and get through the skin barrier. Um, so you have that sort of internal protection that's working from the inside out. The balms are also great, but they're actually doing a slightly different thing. They're actually creating a barrier or supporting the skin barrier itself. So doubling up is absolutely perfect. Uh, However, with bug, you always know, even if the balm rubs off or whatever, you've still got that secondary line of defense as such, that cumulative effect of the animal eating it, the dog eating it.
Now, I know that this is a slightly off the cusp sort of question. I was going to ask you what your favorite supplement from our A-OK9 sort of suite is, really, because we have such a lovely, for me, it's a really, I'm very passionate about the range. I'm sure that everyone knows that. But I also am really proud of the range. And I think for me,
Yeah.
I'm going to start and I'm going to say Bug K9 because I think that traditional wormers are very, very overused. I think that there are many pharmaceutical companies that are using things personally. This is me saying it personally. This is not Dave or anyone else. This is me saying it. I think that we use things that are not allowed in agriculture. We use things that we're told not to put near our skin. We're told to use gloves when we handle some of the flea and tick products that are on the vet market. We're told they should never go near us, and yet we put them in our house. We let our dogs rub all over our sofa. We put them on our dog's skin, and they are then meant to permeate throughout the organs, which worries me a lot. So for me, and this is having a dad that's died of cancer, and having a dog that's been diagnosed with severe cancer. And a life-ending cancer. And so for me, it raised questions, it made me curious, it made me look to alternative solutions and options. And so for my dogs, they do have worm counts and they do have fairly raw natural food, but Bug K9 goes alongside that, and they have their Bug K9 every day in their bone mix. I mix it in a bone, I put it all together. I do once a week or once every few weeks meal prep. They all get frozen and they get given them once a day. For me, it's like a mega win. I love this as a supplement. I'm very, very passionate about Bug K9 as a supplement because I really believe that dogs don't need the level of over treatment that, this is my personal belief, that the vet world would have me believe. And my dogs don't have the once a month schemes. They don't have the constant Drontal. They don't have the constant Bravectos. And I don't put any sort of liquid squeezable tubes that aren't supposed to go near my hands on their necks. So for me, Bug K9 is a passion area. I am so happy that we have it, Dave. I'm so grateful that it's been developed. I'm so grateful to what we do as a team. And I'm really pleased that people all over the world get to educate and ask the right questions or the wrong questions. You know what? Ask the questions is all I'm saying. For me, that's what is yours?
Oh, that's a tough one, Lauren, isn't
It
it?
is. It's a tough question.
But I've just, while you've been talking, actually, I've been sat thinking about
Which one?
all the products, and I think any product that can minimize the amount of medication that an animal and a dog might be on. Now, now for me, something like Bug K9, it probably would be near the top, because actually there are certain medications and certain treatments that you have to give, even with the best diet and supplementation. There's certain treatments that you have to give. So something like Bug K9, it probably would be near the top, because it's something that actually, why would you use treatments and medications when you could use something like this? Some of my other favorites would be the probiotic and digestive range you have, the
Well,
rescue.
and just tell people a little bit about it. So, just for people that don't know, because I know that you're very passionate. I mean, I'm pleased that you actually pulled Bug up there, because I know that your probiotic and your rescue, probably the newest one, the Rescue Rapid,
Yeah.
they're really high up there for you.
Yeah, they are. The whole digestive range is really high up there for me. Very, very much because of the role of the microbiota in all aspects of health. And if humans and dogs have a healthy microbiota, a nice stable level of uh, um, probiotic or good flora as such, a good bacteria in the gut, it will affect every aspect of them. And we know from Calm Canine, for example, what we've done is coupled probiotics with anxiolytic nature of certain ingredients to promote the serotonin levels in the brain and calm animals down. And that's affecting the microbiota, but the microbiota also affects immunoregulation, metabolic function, the protection against pathogens, which is a similar kind of issue to this. And A-OK9 have got a fantastic range within that, and it starts with Rescue Now, which is the probiotic paste for any kind of um, initial upset tummies as such. Then it goes on to the rescue sachets, which can help replace electrolytes and important nutrients. Probio for general sort of health of the gut flora. And then you also have gland K9 as well for anal gland health and dietary fiber needs. So that in itself, that area would be one of my favourite aspects of A-OK9, because actually if you look after the gut and the digestive health area, that in itself promotes all aspects of health as well. So that in itself would help with even ticks, because if the immunity levels are really high and particularly pathogens are high, that could help with any kind of parasitic
I
as well.
haven't even thought about that. I think that my dog's immunity level is probably very high because actually they're fed on a good food and they use the mushroom supplement. They've got Prime, which I think is a brilliant everyday supplement, and my dog's Prime is fantastic for me. But I look at that as an investment that I have instead of the vet treatment. That is the alternative. So I see this as my investment. Now, I do have a quick story, Dave, before we dash. And I was staying in a camper van last week. I was in this camper van. Absolutely fantastic. Lovely, lovely. Everything's great. I've got 7 dogs with us, 7. And we've got 7 dogs. We've got a really purpose-built camper van. Very, very exciting. Very, very nice space to be in. And one of the dogs has bad tummy. No longer a nice space to be in. Very small space. Very small space. Dog with bad tummy. Explosive. Camper van. Carpet. Not going into too much detail. Horrific. Literally, first off, cleanup job. Whilst thinking, where's the nearest vet? What do I need to get? I brought Rescue Now with me. So I grabbed my Rescue Now. I literally did my little turny bit, popped it into her mouth, back of her mouth, because I was like, you're not taking this. This is going right in the back of your mouth. It was on her tongue, couldn't get it off. She's like, couldn't get it off her tongue, which is great because with a powder, if they don't want to eat, you can't force them. So if they don't want to eat the powder, if they don't want to take the drink, or they don't want to do whatever, you can't force them. This, and I think sometimes there is a need for, you need to take this medication because this is going to look after, it's great probiotics, and you can tell us in a minute what's in it, but it's great for her to have it straight in the mouth. And actually she swallowed it, no more. It was done. There was no more. I was like ready with the next dose for the next round. And yet literally, I mean, I did give it to her for a couple of days just because I felt that I wanted to safeguard the fact that we'd had explosive camper van situation, which is not pretty. Very small space, very smelly, and brand new camper van and brand new pale carpets. So you can imagine my horror. And at the same time, it's dogs and it's what they do. So it worked, Dave. It was fantastic. It saved me a big vet trip. It saved me more stress. It saved me dirty carpets. It saved me bad smells. It saved her from the stress of that experience too. For me, it was a massive win. Just before we head out of here, why did we win like that? Because I was blown away, because it's the first time I've needed to use it. I've used it in other situations, but this was like a really bad tummy situation. I've used it in like a loose tummy situation, but I've never had it where it was really explosive. And she was explosive, and it had that smell where you go, oh, I don't like the look of this or the smell of this. It stopped.
Yeah, it's a really interesting product, and if anyone wants to do their own research, it's a really good area to research. Actually, the thing that will help with that kind of upset stomach, diarrhea effects is actually the clay in the product itself. And if anyone's ever had clay in the garden, they will know that it retains moisture. Just natural clay in our garden retains moisture. So if you think about a really heavy clay garden, it never really dries out, and in the winter it'll become solid because the water within the soil freezes. And clay naturally its chemical makeup retains water. There is actually a bentonite clay in the Rescue Now product, and bentonite clay is essentially just a different type of clay that we would get here. It has a very small size, so the surface area for liquids is larger because the granule size is so small. And when it comes into contact with water, because it's positively charged, as all clays are, it goes through what's called hydrational swelling. And this hydrational swelling actually, essentially, the moisture sticks to the particles, and it becomes almost like a solid. Solid. So what it's looking to do is it's actually looking to get into that gut where there's the sloppy mess as such, and firm up the fishes. And it firms it up by doing what clay does naturally. Clay will retain moisture. And the idea is it soaks up all that moisture, turns it into a more solid feces. And while it's soaking up the moisture, it also soaks up toxins. Now, anybody can research this themselves online and just look under smectite clays, bentonite clays. It's not just used in the health industry, it's used in the petrochem industry, it's used in the cosmetic industry because of this propensity to retain and hold moisture in place. And it's just doing
Amazing.
what clay does naturally. So that's the stuff that is doing the job as such
And
within the.
what makes it better than other products on the market?
It makes what makes it better is the type of bentonite clay in there. We've got a few angles on this. The bentonite clay does what clay does, as it says, it holds in the moisture. It also contains probiotics, and the probiotics are there to replenish the beneficial bacteria, because obviously if an animal has diarrhea, the chances are it's got an upset within its colon, which means it'll have a dysbiosis of the beneficial bacteria in the colon. So ideally, what you'll want to do is replenish that to get to optimal levels again. So the probiotics there to grow that again. It also contains electrolytes, and if a dog is losing water, obviously you'll want to replace those electrolytes as well.
That for me was massive on the market, because I realized that the other products I'd previously been using hadn't been doing that. So, and sometimes it's hard to get the dog to want to take anything. And so for me, it's that one in the mouth, done, sorted, thank you, there. That was a real win. And knowing the electrolyte was taken care of too.
Yeah, and that's the thing with rescue now is obviously you want that mess to stop as soon as possible. So yeah, we could just use bentonite, but you also want to try and help the dog as well, and help the
Absolutely.
dog's gut as well. And that's the other part of the ingredients to do that.
Now, I know we were here for bug, but I couldn't help but ask. And then it took us down a rabbit warren, and here we are looking at guts. And I know your favorite area, which is looking after tummies and probiotics and all of that lovely space. Dave, you have been a pleasure. Like, thank you so much. You are a literally wealth of knowledge. We're so privileged to work together with A-OK9. Very, very excited that this world get to hear a little bit about it. Thank you for joining us, and we really appreciate it.
Oh, thanks, Lauren.